Okay, so I don't know how long this is gonna take me. Ideally, it would take me one day, but it is already almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. My husband will be home soon and I have to make dinner still. So the likelihood of this project getting done today is slim to none. But I'm gonna start it today, because if I don't start it today, I may not start it tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be reorganizing my yarn collection and compiling it all. I'm gonna start a fix it, finish it, or frog it. That's the other word. Fix it. I'm gonna start a fix it, finish it, or frog it pile because I've got a bunch of projects tucked away in boxes underneath things in piles. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. There's some natural light over on this side. Okay. Okay. This is a dangerous game I'm playing right here. I think it'll be fine as long as my dog doesn't move from that spot. And I've got my hamper laid right in front of the door there because if I don't, it will not stay closed. So don't look at my dirty clothes. Here's just one of the many places that I have yarn stored in my home. I will show you the other places once I have this organized. So I've got a big pile of scraps, unfinished things, cakes of yarn, clothes, and then I've got a box, and then I've got a basket back there. This shelf used to be so organized. Okay, I'm gonna start by taking care of this, getting rid of all of the clothes that are in this pile, all of the things that don't belong here, that aren't yarn, that are just pieces of clothing I haven't put away yet. I'm not gonna be too worried right now about organizing it by category. I'm just gonna organize it by space, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna sort it by color or even necessarily separate the acrylic and the cotton. I'm just gonna make sure that everything is confined and mannerly. You know what I mean? I mean, if I can organize it while I'm doing it, I will if I can help it, but I'm not gonna think too hard about it. Okay, actually, okay. See, this is my thought process. I can't just start. I have to. I'm like a chess player. ADHD version. Oh goodness, there are so many cakes of yarn in here that I totally forgot about. Okay. Oh, okay, what is this CD? What is this? Oh, a CD! A CD tutorial for a sock loom that is in here somewhere. Here's this basket. This has way more cakes of yarn in it than I anticipated, I remember. And I have to organize it all. Oh, this is so unorganized. I remember why I just threw this in this basket. Because I didn't want to deal with it, and I said future me will deal with that, and now here I am having to deal with it. Okay, I've always kept this yarn around because I always thought it would be great for Halloween. Or fall even. It's just such a beautiful burnt orange color. I've just never done anything with it because it's so beautiful. I want to use it for something more than just a pumpkin, you know? Because a couple of years ago I was making pumpkins, even though I never finished them. Like, I never sewed them together and stuffed them. But I was making the rectangles of pumpkins. just because rectangles were easy and I wasn't as advanced or knowledgeable back then. Okay, I'm unraveling something, it feels like. Oh, look at this. Look at what I've done. Oh, goodness. I really need to make myself a project bag. I need to make myself a project bag so badly. I have no project bags. None. I mean, like, sometimes I use like a backpack or like a baggy purse as a project bag, but it's not really the same, and it's definitely not as useful. And I'm just like, even a simple tote bag would be easier than the situation that I've got going on right now, which is nothing. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut these cakes loose and then deal with the project whenever I find it in there. But I can't unravel this with the cakes still attached, and I don't even care about the project that's on those needles anyway. So I'm just cutting them free. Oh, here's this. I was looking for this. I was looking for this. Great, but this isn't cake. I need to cake that. Here's my sock. Here's the sock that I started, and I stopped because I wasn't sure if it was gonna fit, and I really wanted it to fit, but I didn't want... When I realize that I have to unravel something, it usually makes me put it down until I come to terms with the fact that I have to unravel hours and hours and hours of work until I finally unravel it and make it how I want it. Or the alternative is to not fix it, continue to put hours and hours of work into it and be mad at myself when it's done and not the way that I want it. So I'm trying to be better about that. That's something that I have been trying to be more mindful about. When I need to unravel something, unravel it. It's no big deal. Because then you can start working on it again, as opposed to putting it down, getting disheartened, and not making progress on it for months and months and months. Because that, more than anything, slows down progress. I have a halter top right now that I was so confident in the design for the strap on the top, and I sewed it all together. It took me all morning, and I put it on, and I hated it, and it wasn't even a question of should I unravel it or not, because I hated it. I mean, with how much I loved the body portion of this halter top, and this is like the first thing that I'm designing, and I hope to one day make a pattern for it and maybe possibly sell it. Like, this is a big deal. I mean, to me, I mean, maybe it wouldn't have been such a big deal if I didn't like the way that it was turning out so much. But I put it on the other day before I started the top strap part, and I just loved the way that it fit. I loved that it draped. I loved the yarn that I chose and the way that it made me look. And I loved the shaping that I put on it. I loved the 3x3 rib choice that I did instead of a 2x2 or 1x1. I was really proud of myself and excited with the way that this was going. I decided for the first time that I was gonna design a pattern, and everything was turning out. And the one thing that I was super confident in, my idea for the collar strap, didn't turn out. And it took so long. It took so long. But I'm trying not to be upset about it. Just like I'm not going to be upset about this. But I think actually what I'm going to do is now I have cable needles that are this size, and when I started this sock I didn't. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the sock from these needles to cable needles, and that way when I put it onto the cables, this will be way more flexible and I'll be able to get my foot into it, hopefully, I think, maybe, and I'll be able to see if it fits well enough to continue or I need to unravel it. If I put it on and it miraculously fits, then that means that I don't have to unravel anything and I can continue on, and that would be great. And that means that I put it down for all those months for nothing, but then we'll see. But I do have the feeling that it's going to be a little bit big. That was a long tangent about that sock. Okay, I am nearly done clearing out this basket. And then when I'm cleared out with this basket, this is where I'm going to put all of my unfinished projects. This is going to be my fix it, finish it, or frog it pile. I honestly should also start a scrap yarn bag because I have a lot of scraps. Okay, in here, got the CD. Got some double pointed needles, and I've got more of these. Finger tallies. Counter, I mean. Oh, here's a pin in here. Alright. This is the basket. Now that it's empty, is going to be the basket where I put all of my projects that have yet to be finished. This is a dog vest that I started to make for my mom's friend / my coworker, but it didn't fit her dog. It was too small. Granny square, granny square, granny square, granny square, granny square. Bandana, bandana. These actually are finished. Buttons. I have a feeling this is where I'm going to find a lot of the missing matching sockses. Wait, what the fuck did I just say? Oh, man. I meant to say, I have a feeling this is where I'm going to find a lot of the missing socks that I can't find matches to. That's what I meant to say. Ooh, look at this. I found a cable. This is getting fuller than This is getting fuller quicker than I thought it would. My goodness, it's already full. Found another sock. Hey, I found another sock. I found another sock. Oh my god, I found another sock. Oh, here's that loom. Here's that loom that I was talking about earlier. And I found a pair of knitting needles with another cable. That's 2 cables that I found. That's great. And a Tunisian crochet hook. Oh, found another sock. Okay. Oh, I can't be bothered with this camera angle right now. Okay. Oh, there's a fly in here. Okay, so it's a few hours later. The sun has now, yeah, it's gone down. It's not totally dark yet, but it's down. And my husband is at the park. Stove is on. I mean, the dinner is on the stove right now. This is my work that I have done. Organized chaos, but organized more than it was before. Before it was just chaos. Okay, this is another corner where I have all of my projects stuffed in. And I really don't know what I'm gonna do because that basket I thought was gonna be enough for all of my whips. And it is already full, and I know that this basket is mostly whips in it. Because I long ago designated this basket to be for whips, but then this basket got to be so small, too small for my whips. And now it is in a corner, piled high with whips, abandoned projects, old clothes. I found another cable. I found another cable. Oh, my battery's about to die. I was just letting you know that this is the next area that I'm going to be tackling. Okay, so it's actually the next day. What? Hello? I just got home from work, and I'm going to be cleaning out this pile. I think I said this last night, but what's in this pile is mostly whips, and that basket that I made for whips is already full. Let me get it. Let me get the whip pile. Okay, here's the whip basket. I've got some scissors and buttons in there too, but this is mostly whips. I have to go through this. I think I'm gonna do one bulk video TikTok. I think I'm gonna make a bulk TikTok where I frog a bunch of things that I for sure don't want anymore, and then the ones that I'm gonna either fix or finish. I have a lot of unfinished projects where all I have to do is weave in the ends. So I've got this tulip vest, like this pink top. I probably could stand to undo this ribbing on the edge because I don't really like the way that it looks, and I have ends to weave in, but I made this a couple of years ago and I still don't have the ends weaved in, and that's the main reason that I don't wear it. So I mean, if it's just as easy as that, that's like super easy, you know. Okay, this scarf. Okay, this, I already know what I have to do with this. This is a vest that I have to fix and finish too. This is a ring light. Ooh, my gloves! Oh, good. Shorts. Ooh, my heat's kicking on. Oh, look! I found another pair of knitting needles with a cable. I'm finding a bunch of cables, which is great because I never have any. Although, okay, I've mentioned in a couple of my TikToks that I go to my library once a week. I try to. I don't make it every week. But there's a knitting club at my library once a week that I like to attend. And the last time that I went, this woman, I've been going to this knitting club for almost a year. I think I started going last summer. And she gifts me a full set of knitting needles with like all different kinds of different sized cables. It was so nice. And I'm already getting use out of them, so it was just really sweet. Anyway, I said all that to say I don't really find myself needing all of these cables that I lost, because now I have like 3 full sets of knitting needles of all kinds of sizes. So, oh, ooh, this dress is so close to being finished. This dress is so close to being finished, and it's super cute. But I've got so many ends to weave in because of all of these color changes. But I'm wondering if because the ends are all on the inside, I wonder if I could just tie in a really tight knot and cut it. And if that would be fine enough, or if I should really just be responsible and weave in all the ends. And there's a lot on this. You can't see them, they're all on the inside. I want to wear this for this summer. I want to get this done. Okay, another whip. I started in the fall. Ooh, that's cute. Yeah, this is inspired. This is pretty much, I'm copying a picture that I saw on Pinterest. But I didn't finish it. But maybe next fall. Oh, here's more of that yarn for that dress. A whip that might not finish. Oh, here are these, oh my god. Here are these squares that I made. Oh man. I'm so tired of, I'm gonna start telling the long versions of my story. I'm gonna start telling the long versions of my stories and not giving a damn, because I always got pressured into telling the short versions of my stories as a kid. And still now I do as an adult. But this is my, I'm gonna start having a mindset of, this is my channel, this is my video, I'm making it, and I'm gonna tell the long versions of my stories if I want to. So I'm gonna tell the long version of this story, okay? Oh my god, my camera's not fucking focus. I was scrolling through Pinterest after Jeanette McCurdy released her memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. And when that was really trendy and she was in the media a lot because she was doing press interviews and stuff, I saw her in a thumbnail of a YouTube video, and she was wearing this sweater. It was like this color block sweater, and it was really bright and vibrant, and it contained all of my favorite colors: pink, yellow, and green, and some other colors, but I don't care about those colors. But I mostly cared about the yellow and green and the pink. Well, so I started making these squares in hopes of making a sweater just like hers with the color blocks. And I made these sweaters without doing any sort of measurement first. And I decided that 3 squares was not going to be wide enough, and 4 squares was going to be too wide. So I decided I was going to make these into like a bag or something. And so that's why I've kept them. Oh, actually, you know what? If I don't end up making it into a bag, I really would like to, because there's a lot of like mini granny squares that I've found in the bottom of some boxes. And I think it would be really cool to get like a denim jacket or something and sew on some granny squares, like patches, and cover a denim jacket in granny patches, or just square patches. I think that would be cool. I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with that idea, but this is cute. This is a cute granny square. Oh, here are these pumpkins that I was talking about. A pumpkin that I haven't cinched yet, a bag that I haven't made a strap for. I started that like 3 years ago. Ooh, more squares, more squares, more squares, more squares. Oh, another pumpkin. Oh. Another pumpkin. A bag. More squares. Some lemons that I made for a blanket. like way behind on the trend train, but I started listening to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I actually own the physical copy of that book, and a couple of months ago I read the first few chapters of it, and I liked it, but for whatever reason I put it down. But I saw today that because I have a premium Spotify account, I can listen to the audiobook of I'm Glad My Mom Died on Spotify. So I listened to that while I was at work today, and I got like halfway through the book. Just in the few hours that I listened to it. And I listened to it on 1 times speed. Like, I listened to it at normal speed. I'm not against listening to audiobooks in faster speed, but she just sounded interesting and I wanted to listen to it at normal speed. Ah, like this! Like this? Are you kidding? I made this as a test square okay, I don't want to tell the long version of this story. I made this test square a long time ago, but I ended up not needing it. But I think this would be cool on a denim jacket sewn on there or something, you know? I am so sick of having a fucking bald spot. That is so embarrassing. Oh, look at all my baby hairs. I so desperately need to make myself some bags because I've got the yarn and I've got a fucking knitting machine. I don't have to put that much time into it. I have a knitting machine. I can just whip up a rectangle, sew up the edges. I would have to get my sewing machine out and sew in a liner because I feel like a knit bag would not be very durable because it would have a lot of stretch. But like, even though I haven't sewn in years, it's just a square. It's just a rectangle. I can square up 2 sides. I can cut out a rectangle of fabric. I've got some spare fabric in a corner somewhere, I'm sure. I could do it. It would take me a couple of hours at the most, and I could probably make a video about it too. I just haven't yet. I probably can do that tomorrow. I swear to God, if this camera goes out of focus one more time, do you think it's because that this stuff is right here? Oh my God, you guys want to hear a secret? I always talk a little bit faster after I've taken a couple of hits off the Benjamin. You know what I mean? So, ooh, I found another one of these. Ooh, and I found another one of these. Ooh, and I found another one of these. Oh, there's so many scraps in here. Oh, and there's a freaking shoelace. Or no, it's a drawstring. Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, it's like Tarzan. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I'm trying this new thing this year because I saw like 2 videos on TikTok a couple of weeks ago about how the spring equinox, basically the New Year's, and again, I heard this on TikTok and I didn't Google anything to back up how true this was. But it made sense enough to convince me to do it, even if it's true or not. But basically, the TikTok said that the New Year's got moved from the spring equinox to the middle of winter because of the Catholic Church and wanting to fuck with the Native Americans. And that sounds totally plausible to me. The spring equinox makes total sense for things to be the New Year's that day, because like, why the hell are we making New Year's resolutions in the middle of winter when we're all depressed and deprived of sunlight and motivation? Now's the time that I'm gonna start thinking about resolutions and stuff, because I really didn't even think about it this New Year's because I didn't want to think about it. It was the middle of winter. I so badly need to make myself some bags. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my clothes and make a separate video of me making a tote bag on my knitting machine. And then when I'm done with that, I will come back and I'll have a bag, possibly 2, to then put some of this stuff in. So, I will see you when the bag is made.
I did film some footage of me working on my knitting machine, trying to make that bag, but I was having some trouble working on the panel setting on my knitting machine. I never worked the panel setting before. I was getting the hang of it, and it was kind of frustrating me a little bit, and when I get frustrated, I like to turn the camera off, so I kind of gave up on the idea of making a video about it. I was just going to make it off camera, maybe make a TikTok about it, but I didn't want to make a full video, especially when I was frustrated at the machine. But editing this back, some of my whips are bags, so I think I might just work on fixing those first, make those my priority, and then it's like a double whammy. I'll have projects finished and out of the pile, and I'll also have bags to put stuff in. It's like a win-win. So I'm probably going to do that instead. That does not mean that I'm giving up on my knitting machine, though. I will master the panel setting on my knitting machine. I am just putting it off temporarily.